Hey, Tribe Forex traders. Today is April 11th, 2016, and let me tell you what we've got going on here. Let's look at the euro dollar. You're going to notice that, first of all, that I've got a new setup on the Tribe Forex homepage. And what you're going to notice is it's got the bias, the fundamental bias, the technical bias, and a chart as well that's going to be there so that you can see what we're talking about with the technical bias. Well, here's what we've got for the euro dollar. The euro dollar is basically neutral. It's got a neutral bias fundamentally, but technically what we're looking for is we can see that we've got a area of resistance here right at the top. This is the monthly chart, so you can see that's a very strong resistance, and we're going to actually look for it to sell down, potentially back down to 107-ish, 107.50 in that range. But you know, we'll wait and see what happens with this resistance area. But it really does look good for a sell off this resistance point, specifically because we don't have a strong, we just don't have any strong news. We have nothing going on the euro here, weak dollar, weak euro, and that's what we're looking toward. All right, looking at the dollar Swiss, same thing more or less. We're actually at very, very strong support on the dollar Swiss. The pod be strongest also across the, you can see across the bottom here, very strong area of support and resistance at 0.9500. And we can see price move up from here, from this point moving up on the dollar Swiss. And so we've got basically a neutral bias on the fundamentals, and technically we have a buy bias on the dollar Swiss. Okay, so the pound dollar, actually look at the 4 hour, has a beautiful sell reversal candle right here. What we have is on the fundamental standpoint, we look to have a sell bias on the pound, a weak pound, and we also look to have but you know, we're in consolidation here on the technicals, right? So the technicals are right in the middle of the it's like a no man's zone, if you will. It's like just nothing going on there. So we've got kind of a neutral bias at this point in time from a technical standpoint on the upper time frames, macro technically. Okay, so it's neutral bias technically, but a sell bias on the pound dollar fundamentally. Dollar yen, I think it's clear that we've got a sell bias technically, and we have a sell bias on the fundamentals as well. Yen continues to strengthen, the dollar continues to weaken. Just a very good opportunity for us to continue to see this move down. Now look, we may see price pop up, give us a retracement, but looking at it here, we've got a sell bias, we've got a sell trend, and we've got a sell bias here on the dollar yen. Aussie dollar, we're actually looking right here at, we're right on, if you look at the monthly, we're on a 20 SMA that we just bounced off of to the downside. So what's interesting about this is that, like, looking at it from the monthly, we've got a sell bias on the, as we're at the consolidation point here on the Aussie dollar, from a technical standpoint, but from the fundamental standpoint, we've got a buy bias. So it's going to be interesting to see. We've got conflicting biases. Watch out for that currency pair. That fundamental bias may shift. That technical bias may also shift, but as of now, we are looking at a conflicting biases on the technicals and the fundamentals. New Zealand dollar is neutral fundamental bias and a sell bias here on the weekly. You can see here across the top, very, very strong resistance area. We've had back and forth movement here on the New Zealand. Great consolidation. And you can see here that across here, we've got kind of a pennant forming, and we're going to look for price to come down here, sell off on the New Zealand dollar. From a technical standpoint, dollar CAD, we've got a sell fundamental bias, sell technical bias, just beautiful trend, downtrend here on the dollar CAD, and the CAD continues to strengthen, dollar continues to weaken. Good opportunities for us there. Pound yen, we also have a sell bias here. If you can look at the monthly, we just passed our support areas. We're going to look for continuation of a sell there on the pound yen. If you look down here, it is also in line with us having a stronger yen and a weaker pound. So that's a good place for us to look there. On the euro yen, we don't have anything to say about this besides neutral. It's neutral because we haven't passed the areas of support here on the macro levels in the monthly chart, weekly chart, obviously either. And so we're going to wait and see what happens here. Price could easily bounce back to the upside or continue to move down. So it's a neutral bias here on the euro yen. Guys, those are our biases for the week. If you want to look at, what our actual trade calls are going to be for the week inside of that, then simply just go to tryforex.com, where you will find them right here, FX trade signals. You'll be able to see the biases that we'll be putting up for April 11th. All the best, guys. Talk to you soon. Happy trading.